settle in. If you can, let your shoulders soften and your jaw loosen as if you were arriving home after a long day. Tonight we enter a tender room together, the room where healing happens, but not always in the way we expect. The title of this session is Shadow Work: Why Healing Feels Like Breaking First. I want to speak to the part of you that wonders why relief takes so long, the part that asks, why does it hurt more before it helps? Why do the old wounds roar louder when I finally turn toward them? You are not doing anything wrong. You are intersecting with a deep law of inner life. What has been hidden rises before it releases. What has been clenched must unfurl, and the unfurling can be tender. By the end of our time, I hope you feel less alone with your pain. I hope you feel a little more understanding of your own rhythms. And I hope you carry with you a set of grounded, gentle practices you can return to tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. No rush, no pressure, just a steady lantern in your hand. Before we begin, a soft invitation. If your heart wants to close its eyes during this session, let it. If your body needs to stretch, breathe, or place a hand where it hurts, do that. I'll be right here with you, speaking slowly, like waves meeting a shore. Now, let's step into the story of the shadow. You may have heard the name Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist who spoke of something he called the shadow. Jung used that word to describe the parts of ourselves we do not want to see. The impulses, feelings, memories, and traits we push out of the light because they feel unacceptable, too much, or simply unfamiliar. But the shadow is not only bad, it also holds exiled gold, your unapologetic joy, your sovereignty, your capacity to say no and to say yes. The shadow is a vault of everything unacknowledged. Imagine your inner world as a house. The rooms you keep tidy and bright are the qualities you've learned to show the world. Your kindness, your intelligence, your competence. And then there's a basement. The basement is not evil. It just holds what hasn't yet found a welcome upstairs. Maybe there's anger in one corner, grief stacked in boxes, a childlike silliness covered by a drop cloth, a powerful voice wrapped in newspaper, waiting. We become scared of this basement because it is dim and because when we open the door, dust rises and the throat tightens. But nothing down there is a monster. It's you. It's all you. Sometimes people think shadow work is about hunting for flaws. It's not. It's about loving wholeness. It's about saying, all of me belongs, even when a part feels messy or loud. The shadow is simply the name for what we keep in the dark. And when we bring it into the light, not to punish it, but to hold it, something begins to soften. How do these hidden aspects show up in daily life? They show up in small ways, as if whispering, I'm here. Maybe you feel a sharp jab of jealousy and immediately scold yourself, then wonder why it returns stronger next time. Maybe you find yourself judging someone's vanity, only to realize later you've been suppressing your own desire to be seen and appreciated. Perhaps you cannot say no, so your yes becomes heavy and bitter, and you're surprised when resentment leaks out sideways. Or you procrastinate on a dream, not because you're lazy, but because a younger part learned that shining invited criticism, and now every step toward your gift prompts alarm. The shadow reveals itself in patterns of overreaction and underreaction, in triggers that seem bigger than the moment, in the energy it takes to hold the lid on old pain. In your body, it can feel like tightness in the chest, a flutter in the stomach, a lump in the throat. It can look like perfectionism, people-pleasing, sudden withdrawal, or a hunger that isn't about food. None of this is proof you're broken. It is the way the subconscious mind speaks, through symbols, sensations, and repeated stories, asking to be retold with truth. So why does healing feel like breaking first? Because when we finally stop running, the dust we kicked up while sprinting has a chance to settle. And in the settling, we can see what's been here all along. The nervous system, conditioned to brace, starts to thaw. And like cold fingers tingling in warm water, it stings before it soothes. The knots loosen, and the ache announces itself as it unwinds. It feels like breaking because the shell that once protected you is cracking. But shells, by design, are temporary. The life inside is meant to outgrow them. Let's walk through the stages of shadow work together. Recognition, confrontation, and integration. I will add a fourth rhythm too, because I have seen it again and again. Renewal, the ongoing relationship with your shadow that keeps you honest and kind. These are not rigid steps, but a living spiral. You may circle them many times, and each turn will offer a gentler view. First, recognition. It begins with noticing. Noticing without shaming, without attacking yourself, without sprinting to fix. If you can simply say, I see you, an old pattern has already loosened. Recognition is a candle lit in the basement. Maybe you notice a pattern you've justified for years, laughing off an insult, assuming blame automatically, shrinking in good news, or cutting off intimacy when someone comes close. You catch it in real time and whisper, "Hello, old friend. I'm watching." Recognition asks you to be curious instead of cruel. What are you protecting? You might ask the procrastination. What story are you repeating? You might ask the jealousy. What care are you asking for? You might ask the anger. Under each behavior, there is a belief. Under each belief, there is a memory. Under each memory, there is a child. Recognition kneels to listen. Then comes confrontation, a word that can sound harsh, but in truth, it means to come face to face. Confrontation in shadow work is not about fighting yourself. It is about meeting the part you've exiled and saying, "I'm ready to hear you." This stage feels raw because you are re-entering rooms you swore never to visit. You open the box labeled grief, and a wave arrives. You say, "I'm angry," and for a moment, you fear the sky will fall. You admit you're lonely, and the silence around you suddenly amplifies. This is where many people believe they are regressing. They are not. They are feeling what was postponed. The subconscious mind does not vanish because we ignore it. It continues its quiet labor, holding and holding. When you finally look, the held things rise. This can feel like breaking. Tears, fatigue, restlessness, old dreams, sudden flashbacks of scenes you haven't thought about in years. Your body may tremble a little as it discharges what it had been storing. If this happens, remember, the surge is information, not a verdict. Let yourself pause. Let yourself breathe. Place a hand on your heart and one on your belly so your body knows someone is home. Now, integration. This is the soft labor of weaving. You've seen the pattern. You've met the part. Now you offer it a place. Integration might look like repeating a new, truer sentence until it lives in your bones. It might look like allowing anger to become a boundary, not a burst. It might look like acknowledging jealousy and using it as a compass, a clue that you desire something you've been denying. The shadow becomes a teacher and, eventually, an ally, not erased, not defeated, befriended. And then renewal, the ongoing relationship. You return to these steps again and again, Not because you failed, but because you are alive. Seasons change. Circumstances ask new questions. The shadow evolves with you. Renewal means you stop waiting for the day you'll finally be finished and start trusting the day you are in. Let's go deeper into each stage with examples you can feel. In recognition, you might notice you overwork when a sense of emptiness threatens. You tell yourself it's diligence, but your body feels frantic, your sleep shallow. One evening, you pause at your desk and say, "I am scared of stopping." A small truth, a tender truth. Underneath, perhaps there's a memory. When you stopped as a child, somebody scolded you. Or when you relaxed, a parent's mood changed and the room felt unsafe. Your body learned to outrun stillness. Recognition names this map. I learned working equals safety. Of course I did. Notice the kindness in that sentence. Notice how it dissolves shame. In confrontation, you practice staying with what arises when you don't run. You turn off the screen 10 minutes early, and on the first night, your chest buzzes with bees. The instinct to reach for distraction is strong. You sit with the swarm and say, "I'm here." Maybe tears come, maybe nothing does. The point is not drama. The point is honesty. You are learning to stand in the room of yourself without turning away. In integration, you get practical. You decide to stop glorifying exhaustion. When the shadow whispers, "If you rest, you'll fall behind," you answer, "If I rest, I can be honest." You set a small boundary around your time, even if just for 1 hour each week, and you keep it. It feels awkward at first, like using a muscle you forgot you had. But over time, that muscle becomes strong, and the old story becomes less believable. Let's touch another example. Jealousy. Recognition says, "I'm jealous of my friend's art show." Not, "I'm a terrible person for feeling this." Confrontation asks, jealousy, "What do you want me to know?" Jealousy says, "I want to be seen too." Integration whispers, "Let's schedule an hour to sketch this weekend." Let's share one piece with someone safe. Renewal says, "We will keep listening for where desire points us." And anger. Many of us were taught anger is dangerous. Recognition says, "I notice anger when my boundary is crossed." Confrontation says, "I allow the heat to move through my body without harming myself or others." You might shake your hands out, breathe slowly, even place your feet on the ground and feel the floor's support. Integration asks, what does this anger want to protect? Perhaps it wants to protect your time, your dignity, your dreams. So you use anger as a lantern. It shows you where to draw a line. Renewal is practicing that line kindly, consistently. If at any point shame rises and says, "You should have fixed this by now," remember, healing is not a race. It is a rhythm. Your nervous system learns through repetition and gentleness, not through force. You cannot bully a flower into blooming. You can water it, keep it in good light, whisper encouragement. That is more than enough. Now, let's slow down and enter a short, guided reflection. If you're able, close your eyes. If not, simply soften your gaze and let the words wash over you. Take a slow breath in through your nose for a count that feels comfortable. Hold softly, just for a moment. Exhale a little longer than your inhale, as if you're setting down a basket of stones. Again, inhale, gentle, pause, exhale, longer, soft. Let your shoulders drop a fraction. Let your tongue rest heavy in your mouth. Feel your seat supporting you. Feel the floor holding your feet. You are held. Imagine the house of your inner life. Upstairs, the windows are open. Curtains lift in a mild breeze. Down the hall, there is a door with a small sign. Basement. You are not afraid. You carry a lantern. The lantern's handle is warm in your palm. Each step you take is accompanied by your breath. In and out. A little longer. Open the basement door. The air is cool, but not unfriendly. At the bottom of the stairs, you see boxes with labels written in your own handwriting. Some labels you can read: grief, anger, joy, power, loneliness. Some are smudged. One box glows from within. Approach the glowing box. Kneel so your knees don't have to strain. Place your hand on the lid. Say softly, "I'm here." The box opens. Inside is a younger you, an image, a memory, a sense. You do not pull them out. You let them sit where they are, bathed in that soft light. Ask, "What do you want me to know?" Then listen. Maybe you hear words, maybe you feel a wave of sadness, or see a scene, or simply sense the shape of a need. Whatever arises, it is welcome. If nothing arises, the quiet is still a conversation. Now imagine setting a small cushion beside that younger you. You sit together. You share your lantern. Say, "You did a beautiful job keeping me safe. Thank you." Notice what happens in your body when you say those words. Maybe your chest loosens. Maybe your eyes grow wet. Maybe there is stillness. Trust it. When you're ready, ask a second question. What would help you feel safer with me today? Let an answer arrive in its own time. It might be simple. Please rest. Please speak. Please play. Please say no. Please say yes. Hold the answer like a bird, gentle and sure. Now imagine you and this younger you walking back up the stairs together, not abandoning the basement, not closing it up forever, just agreeing there will be visits again. The door remains easy to open. The lantern remains yours to carry. You whisper, "We're on the same side." Take one more slow inhale and one more long exhale. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. If they are open, notice the colors in the room where you are, the textures, the sound of your breath. You have just practiced recognition and confrontation in a way that honors your nervous system. Gently, with respect. Let's come back to daily life and speak about real-world exercises that can support you. These are not tasks to perform perfectly. They are tools to lean on when the world is loud and your heart needs a clear path. First, journaling for shadow work, a kind of honest conversation on paper. Set aside 10 minutes, preferably at a consistent time each day. You might begin with a simple doorway question. What emotion avoid I most today? Let your pen answer without editing. If you feel stuck, write the sentence. Right now, I notice, and finish it 5 times. For example, right now I notice tension in my jaw. Right now I notice a thought that I should have done more. Right now I notice a longing to be held. Right now I notice I'm thirsty. Right now I notice a memory of 3rd grade sitting alone. When you finish, place your hand on the page and say, "Thank you for speaking." This practice builds the muscle of recognition. Small, steady, honest. A second journaling doorway is to trace a trigger story. Choose a moment from the day when your reaction felt larger than the event. Write what happened, then write what you felt, then write what you needed. After that, ask, when have I felt this way before? Allow associations to surface. You might discover that a coworker's tone echoes a parent's old sigh, or that being ignored at a party echoes being overlooked at home. This is not to blame anyone. It is to map your inner landscape. The subconscious mind offers threads. Your job is to follow them kindly. people imagine this as cheesy or forced, and sometimes it can be. But at its heart, mirror work is the gentle courage to look into your own eyes and speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Stand or sit before a mirror, even a small one. Notice your breath, soften your shoulders, look into your eyes and say, "Hi, I'm here." Pause, watch what arises, then say, "You don't have to be perfect to be loved." Pause. Let your face receive that. If it feels too much, imagine you are speaking to the younger you we met in the basement. You can end with, "I will not abandon you. If tears come, they come. If numbness comes, it comes. Return tomorrow." Little by little, the face in the mirror becomes less of a stranger. There is also a guided reflection you can do before sleep, when the subconscious mind is especially open. Lie down, hand on heart, other hand on belly. Whisper, "Tonight, I welcome what wants to heal." Then imagine a slow, soft river of light moving through your body from crown to toes. Where it meets tension, it pauses. It is patient. Say, "Thank you, body, for showing me where care is needed." If a memory surfaces, you do not need to dive deep. Just place it in a small boat on that river and say, "I will sit with you tomorrow." This keeps the doorway open while respecting your need for rest. Let's add a deceptively simple practice, the pause and name. When you feel a surge, anger, fear, shame, whisper to yourself, "This is anger," or "This is fear," or "This is shame," not "I am anger," not "I am fear," not "I am shame." This is. It helps create a respectful space between you and the emotion. In that space, you can choose how to respond. The shadow is seen without being fused. Another practice is compassionate boundary setting, the practical arm of integration. Choose a tiny boundary to honor this week, one that protects your energy without burning bridges. For example, I will not check messages after 9 p.m. Or, if someone makes a joke that hurts, I will say, "I'm not comfortable with that." Keep it small and specific. Expect awkwardness. Celebrate the awkwardness as evidence you are learning a new language. Boundaries are love and structure. They make room for the real you to breathe. And here is a somatic tool, body first, mind following. When you feel overwhelmed, plant both feet on the ground. Press your heels down slightly. Imagine roots growing from your soles into the earth as if you were a tree. Inhale as if drawing nourishment up through those roots. Exhale as if sending your tension downward to be composted. You can also gently rub your arms from shoulder to wrist and say, "Here." Now the body believes what we repeat with warmth. Sometimes we project, a natural human habit. We notice in others what we deny in ourselves. Use projection as information instead of a reason to judge. If someone's boldness annoys you, ask, "Where is my own boldness asking for expression?" If someone's neediness irritates you, ask, "Where am I asking for care and not giving it?" This doesn't mean other people's behavior is always healthy. It means your reactions are an invitation to look within even as you set external boundaries as needed. Projection becomes a compass, not a whip. Now, I want to return to the discomfort that can come with shadow work, the sense of breaking. You may notice an increase in dreams or a sudden wave of exhaustion. You might have days when you crave silence, and days when certain songs make you cry. This is not a malfunction. It is your inner world reorganizing. The pieces of you that were disconnected are finding each other. Think of a bone that healed crooked. To set it right, there is pain. But the pain has a purpose, and the purpose is wholeness. To move through this phase, practice titration, small sips of emotion. You do not have to drink the whole ocean at once. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Invite a feeling. Stay with it gently. When the timer ends, place your hands on your body. Look around the room, name 5 colors you see, and thank yourself. This can be done multiple times a day, building your capacity without overwhelming you. You can also practice pendulation, moving between activation and resource. Bring to mind something that stirs you just a little, then shift your focus to something that soothes you, a memory of a safe place, a texture you love, the scent of tea, back and forth. This rocking teaches your nervous system that it can feel and return without getting stuck. The subconscious learns safety through repetition. If the word trauma feels heavy, you don't have to use it. You can simply say, something was too much, too soon, too fast, or for too long. Your body adapted. Your mind protected you. Shadow work honors those adaptations while gently loosening their grip where they are no longer needed. Thank you, we say to the pattern. You got me here. Now let's learn a new way. Let us turn to a few more practical tools woven into daily life. When you wake, before reaching for your phone, place a hand on your heart and greet yourself by name. Good morning, person. I'm here. This is simple, but it conditions your subconscious to feel accompanied. Loneliness softens when the self becomes a companion. During the day, use doorway anchors. Each time you pass through an actual doorway, your home's entrance, a room, a car door, whisper, I can start again. If you walked into the kitchen tense, you can exhale. If you walked into a conversation defended, you can pause and soften your shoulders. The shadow loves rituals that support choice. Create a shadow map. On a blank page, draw a circle and write me in the center. Around it, note the behaviors that trouble you, the ones that feel like they happen to you. Snapping at loved ones, scrolling late, overcommitting. Then, next to each behavior, write the need it might be trying to meet. Safety, connection, acknowledgement, rest. Finally, beside each need, write one gentle way to meet it directly. When I want to scroll late, I will drink water and ask, do I need comfort or entertainment? If it's comfort, I will wrap myself in a blanket and listen to one song I loved at 15. If it's entertainment, I will set a 20-minute timer. This is not self-policing, it's self-parenting with love. For mirror work, you can use a structured script as training wheels, and then improvise. Look into your eyes and say, I know you are scared sometimes. That's okay. I respect your fear, and I also trust your courage. I will move at a pace that feels kind. I forgive you for not knowing how before. You are learning. You are allowed to take up space. Pause after each sentence. Notice your breath. If your face changes, let it. If your mouth trembles, let it. The mirror is an altar where you practice truth. For journaling, consider a weekly letter to your shadow. Begin, Dear Hidden One, and then write for 10 minutes as if you were sending a note to a friend who has been doing a hard job in the dark. Thank it. Ask it questions. Promise it patience. Close with, I won't leave you. Reread later and notice which lines make your body soften. Those are the lines your subconscious believes. We can also bring shadow work into relationships gently. When someone you love triggers you, instead of declaring a verdict, try naming your internal experience. I notice a story rising that I am not important. Or, I feel the urge urge to withdraw because I'm scared of being judged. These are not weapons, they are invitations. They give the other person a chance to meet you where it matters. You can set boundaries while staying vulnerable. I want to continue this conversation and I need 10 minutes to gather myself. Or, I care about you and that joke lands hard for me. Can we find a different way? Integration is the dance between truth and tenderness. To honor the subconscious mind's love of imagery, practice a simple visualization for release. Imagine a gentle stream behind your home. When a heavy thought arrives, I'm failing, I'm too much, I'll always be alone. Write it on a leaf in your mind and place the leaf in the water. Watch it float. Your job is not to police the river. Your job is to sit on the bank, breathe, and let the current carry what you no longer need to clench. When a surge of shame arrives, use a hand-to-heart mantra. There is nothing wrong with me for having needs, or I am allowed to be learning, or I am safe to feel this and let it pass. These phrases are medicine for the wounded places. Repeat them quietly, like a lullaby. The shadow does not respond to arguments. It responds to lullabies. You may also find it helpful to create a small evening ritual. Light a candle. Place 3 pebbles next to it. 1 pebble for recognition, 1 for confrontation, 1 for integration. Speak a single sentence for each pebble. For recognition. Today I noticed I felt small in that meeting. For confrontation. I felt a twist of envy and I allowed it to be here. For integration. I will email 1 kind note to myself about what I did well. Then blow out the candle not as an ending but as a promise. The smoke rising like a message. I will continue tomorrow. If grief is present, and often it is when we do shadow work, remember that grief is love wearing another outfit. It shows you what mattered. It shows you what still matters. Letting grief move does not cancel the joy you've known. It clears space for a quieter joy. If tears come in the grocery aisle, allow them. You're not interrupting the world. You're belonging to it honestly. And if the integration stage feels far away, if all you can do is name what hurts, that is still sacred work. The seed in the soil looks like a disaster to the seed. It is losing its shape. But to the soil, and to the sun, and to the rain, it is being remade into what it always held inside. The breaking is part of the becoming. Now, let's gather these threads into a single woven cloth, a summary your heart can carry. Shadow work begins with recognition, noticing what we avoid, what we judge, what repeats. It continues with confrontation, meeting those parts with presence, allowing sensations and feelings to rise, remembering that intensity is information. Then integration, translating insight into small, loving action, creating boundaries, choosing truthful language, and practicing steady rituals. Finally, renewal, accepting the spiral, the seasons, the return, and trusting yourself to meet each wave with greater kindness. As we near the close of this session, I offer you a set of gentle, grounded takeaways to keep close in your pocket. When a trigger strikes, try the pause and name. This is fear. This is grief. Breathe out longer than you breathe in. Place your feet on the floor and look for 5 colors. You have already begun integration by choosing presence. When jealousy, anger, or shame appears, ask, what need are you protecting? Let the answer be practical. Then tend to that need in the smallest possible way today. A glass of water, a 5-minute rest, a single honest sentence. Tiny action is still action. your journal once a week, write the letter to your shadow. In your mirror once a week, speak the promise, I will not abandon you. Before sleep, trace the river of light and place memories in small boats. Trust the night to carry them. In relationships, aim to name your experience rather than the other person's identity. The shadow responds to clear ownership. And keep a compact, compassionate affirmation nearby. A closing affirmation to be repeated when the ache flares or the old story returns like tide. Today, I welcome the parts of me that learned to hide. I am allowed to move slowly. I am allowed to be tender with my becoming. What feels like breaking is an old shell falling away. I choose patience over perfection. I choose presence over performance. I choose love over fear. I trust the wisdom of my body. I trust the timing of my life. I am not behind. I am arriving. Let those words sit inside you for a moment. Notice which line your body believes. Repeat that line under your breath 3 times. Imagine it settling into your cells like warm light. Before we end, I want to bless the effort it takes to stay with yourself. This is not easy work. It is courageous work. Every time you pause, every time you tell the truth on the page, every time you set a boundary or offer yourself a kind gaze in the mirror, you are unclenching generations of silence. You are doing this not only for your own freedom, but for the quiet, gathered wisdom of those who will sit in rooms you'll never see and feel safer because you did. If you are in a season where the basement feels crowded and the boxes feel heavy, remember this: you are allowed to carry one box at a time. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to put a box down and rest your hands. You are allowed to laugh even while you heal. Joy and grief are not enemies. They take turns holding you. And if tonight, or any night, you need words to hold you while you fall asleep, let these be the last you hear. Nothing in you is unlovable. Nothing in you is too much for the light. You are learning how to meet yourself. You are doing it beautifully. We'll end with our closing affirmation for acceptance and patience, spoken one more time like a benediction. I accept the pace of my healing. I accept the waves and the quiet tide pools. I accept that I am a work of art in progress. I give myself the patience I once begged for from the world. I release the need to rush. I release the need to prove. I am whole even as I grow. I am allowed to be new. Carry this into your night. If the world grows loud again tomorrow, you know how to find the basement door. You know how to lift the lantern. You know how to sit on the small cushion beside yourself and say, I'm here. Thank you for walking this path with me. May you sleep with a softer breath and wake with a steadier heart. This was Heyoka Therapy. If this message resonated, let it sit in your heart tonight. We'll meet again in the next session.